Hey crew, Bungie finally fixed the Nuke Knife and I am super excited to share this one with you guys. This is basically a updated version of the Nuke Knife build that a lot of you liked towards the beginning of the season that I posted, but the biggest complaint was this right here. Jaden wrote this comment and a lot of you guys agreed. Basically, the explosion from the knife wasn't counting as a knife kill, and this has been fixed, and now the knife and the explosion both count as a melee kill. And this will refund your melee completely with the right aspects and fragments on. They also clarified that the melee has to get a kill to cause an ignition. It is not just a hit, but with the damage from the impact of the knife itself and the proximity explosion, this is super easy to do, as you can see in the gameplay that you're watching right now. If you're a hunter out there and you're rocking solar, then you better be using this bad boy exotic, because if you're playing any kind of general content, especially for the new solstice event and the bonfire bash and getting those silver leaves and everything, this is by far the best exotic in the game for a solar hunter to be using, in my personal opinion, because it literally just nukes everything in sight, and it's freaking awesome to see and to play it. Now, the build I am running revolves mostly around always having our healing grenade and dodge up, and then keeping up restoration and radiant from the nukes that our melee is creating. I am not using classy restoration at all with this build, because in a month it's going to be gone, so if you want to slot that in, you can, but the awesome thing about this is that it will work the same once the season is over, and that's always a bonus. Now, we want to keep restoration, radiant, and dodge up. Restoration is going to allow us to tank all that incoming damage, and we're going to throw on some healing on top of it. And then we're going to have Radiant for that 25% weapon damage bonus on all our weapons. This is primary, special, and heavy. And then we want to have that dodge up, because when we get in a pinch or we miss our melee ability, we just completely whiff it, or it doesn't kill an enemy, we want to be able to dodge near an enemy to get that melee back just in case. Let's go over the aspects and fragments first, because if you get it all set up right, you're going to have unlimited healing grenades within the subclass, unlimited melees within the subclass, and unlimited dodge. So we'll go over how you get this. For the super, make sure you're using Blade Barrage. It's one of the best supers in the game by far. For the class ability, you're going to be using Gambler's Dodge. When you dodge near an enemy, we get that melee ability back. For our knife, of course, Proximity Explosive Knife, because we're going to be pairing that with the exotic we're going to be using. And then Healing Grenade, this is going to cause restoration on us for 5 seconds, and we're going to chain restoration forever with this build, but this is our main source of restoration, and we're going to take advantage of a fragment that gets this grenade back really fast. For the two aspects, you want to be using Knock 'em Down. This is going to add to our super Blade Barrage, launches more projectiles. But then the bottom part here is the most important. While Radiant, final blows with your equipped throwing knife fully refund your melee ability. We're going to get this melee back over and over, because we're going to be Radiant all the time with this build. We're going to go over that fragment in a second. And then on your mark, just for the 3 extra fragment slots. This is also going to increase our weapon handling and reload speed, which is just great, especially for using something like Fourth Horseman. For the fragment, Ember of Torches, powered melee attacks against combatants make you and nearby allies radiant. We're always going to be radiant because we're always throwing that melee. We get a kill with that melee from our aspect that refunds the melee ability, and that's how you see all the nukes left and right. For the next one, Ember of Empyrean, solar weapon or ability final blows extend the duration of restoration and radiant effects applied to you. We're going to make restoration and radiant last 12 seconds each. When we get that ignition to go off, that instantly puts both of them up to 12 seconds because we kill so many enemies around there, which is just great. Ember of Eruption, your solar ignitions have increased area of effect. This also gets us an extra plus 10 strength, but it just makes the explosions a little bit bigger. We have Ember of Searing, your class ability recharges faster when you scorch targets. This is very nice because when your knife doesn't kill something, it is going to scorch them, which then just feeds into that class ability, and with double utility kickstart on, that basically gives us our dodge back by itself. And then Ember of Blistering is our last one. We haven't used this in very many builds, but it's actually really good. Defeating targets with solar ignitions grants grenade energy. So when you throw that knife out and you get a big explosion go off and you kill 6 or 7 enemies, you basically get your healing grenade back that fast. But we procced Empyrean by doing that, so that means we went up to restoration 12 seconds. So if you feel like you're only throwing your grenade one time, you could take this one off, Ember of Blistering, right, and do something else here if you want, like maybe Ember of Char to chain those ignitions on harder enemies. Use whatever weapons you want with the build. I was using Fourth Horseman. It got the 15% damage buff in PvE, and then it also combines with Radiant for that 25% damage buff, so it's doing pretty good. Now for exotic, I was using Caliban's Hand. This is going to let us ignite targets on a final blow with the proximity knife. That is the perk here, Roast 'em. Also, when you throw the proximity knife and you miss a target, it'll just sit on the ground and your melee regeneration is increased, but that really doesn't matter because we're getting our dodge back with this. So all you need to know is use proximity knife, make sure you kill the target with a final blow, and it will ignite. It's one of the only ways to just instantly ignite things in the game. Now for your helmet, double shotgun ammo finder I was running because of the exotic horseman I was using. You could also throw on hands-on here instead. I had seeking wells on just to make those wells a little bit easier. High mobility if you can, high resilience, high discipline. Discipline is less important with this one, so mobility and resilience would be the two I would aim for by far. If you get 100 here, 100 here, you're looking pretty good. Focusing strike on your gauntlets here grants class ability energy when you cause damage with a melee attack, so we're getting our class ability back faster. Melee well maker, so we spawn a well when we kill something with our melee ability. Chest piece here, we have Well of Life. Each time we pick up a solar well, we get Well of Life for 10 seconds. This is going to add extra healing on top of our restoration, so we can survive even more with that 100 resilience. On our boots, we have Bountiful Wells. That way we can make 2 wells when we kill an enemy with that melee ability. Shotgun Scavenger that I have on my boots, and then I also had a Shotgun Reserve and damage resistance on my chest piece because I was really playing into 4th Horseman here. And then on the class item, which is pretty important here, double utility kickstart just helps feed that class ability back quicker. The reason we want that class ability is to always get that melee back just in case we need it, right? And then elemental time dilation to make our Well of Life here last about 14 seconds instead of the 10 seconds, just to make it a little bit longer. But definitely not needed. Well of Life or elemental time dilation really isn't needed. Bountiful Wells really isn't needed. So you could go a different route if you guys want to. And then I also threw on Solar Fulmination to make those explosions bigger. Of course, that won't really matter. You could take that off if you want and do something else there. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you found it helpful. If you leave a like on the video or subscribe if you're new to the channel, that would really help the channel out. Thank you so much for watching. There'll be some gameplay here at the end, and I'll see you guys all in the next video. Have a great rest of your day.